For those of you who don't realize this, not all med students graduated valedictorian, inducted into the Honor Society, and cured cancer. Most students, like myself, kind of have a underdog story, which is why I'm wearing this shirt today. You know, Naruto's kind of like an underdog, you know? I didn't do my best in college and graduated with a GPA that did not reflect my academic abilities. And after college, I did a master's program, and after finishing the master's program, I realized my true potential as a student was just getting started. I'll show you how I went from barely passing my classes to getting high marks / grades in medical school. And be sure to hit the subscribe button below so you can join the fam and never miss any videos. We're posting like twice a week now. And I feel the need to say that this video is not meant to brag or make you feel inferior. People on social media really do crave results and credibility, especially what I've seen from the big creators in the study niche of YouTube and Instagram and TikTok. Creators like Karma Medic or Ali Abdal, they've created videos that talk about how they ranked first at their medical college. And yes, these kind of titles can immediately make you feel bad about yourself, but what I think they're trying to do is to show people that learning and studying is a science that can be mastered. And a quick note about the logistics of med school, looks like the UK does a lot of ranking when it comes to their medical students, but in US, at my program, we don't really do ranking, which makes it a lot less competitive. It's a lot more about our individual performance. Which brings me into my first point. I realized the only competition is myself. Understanding this made education more of a self-directed thing and not a competitive thing. Yeah, some studies show that competition increases performance, but it's temporary and it's not good for the mental health. Nowadays, learning is extremely self-directed, and I find it way more fulfilling when I'm studying for my own benefit and I'm not studying to outcompete a classmate or to do better than the class. The second thing I did was I made it fun. I was always worried about looking stupid if I didn't know something, but instead I focused on just having fun. Yeah, it sounds really counterintuitive, but if you actually let yourself have some fun while you're studying, it's a lot more engaging. I think a big thing I realized is that the effort that you put in is essential to learning. When you realize that the effort is just part of it, then you can focus on enjoying it. Even when you're learning something that isn't super interesting. And I know we've been there, we've had a class which we just don't like. For me in college, it was zoology. I had no desire to learn about organisms and animals and stuff like that. And I had that paradigm throughout the entire class, and I did not do as well as I'd hoped in that class. Compared to something like cell biology, which I took in college, I did way better in that class because I actually found it interesting and I actually liked it. So my tip to you would be just to enjoy whatever it is you're learning, even if it's not really interesting. And on top of that, when you're focused on having fun, you're not afraid to ask questions or even test yourself. You never stop learning, even when you graduate. So instead of looking at learning as some dreadful and stressful thing, just make it enjoyable. The next thing I did was I structured my studying around my life. Pay very close attention to the order of words there, because this one was truly a game changer when I realized this. Like, there will be some things that you just have to attend as a student, workshops, classes, but when it comes to studying for exams and what else, it's pretty much on your time. So I started to become really stingy with my time as I scheduled my week for studying. I prefer to study in the mornings and early afternoons. I have little to no desire to study at nighttime, especially after dinner. And guess what happened when I started structuring my study schedule like that? My happiness and mood skyrocketed. I made a vow to myself that I didn't want to be one of those students where I said, oh, I can't go out Saturday night because I have an exam on Monday, or worse, it's that week. Like, how productive are you being on a Saturday night that you can't even go out for a couple hours, which you know it would do some good for your mental health and your focus. But either way, if you're offended, I'm sorry, but that's just an opinion that I have. Okay, my camera randomly died right there, but we're back up and running. And what I was talking about was that when it comes to studying, I don't like studying when I don't want to. And I always try to include the things in my life that are really important to me. And studying should not be everything that you do as a student. It should not be your personality. Trust me, if you are telling yourself that you're going to push off these things that you want to get done until after the exam or semester is over, don't, because then there will be another exam, another challenge, and all the things that you want to do keep on getting pushed back and back and back and back. So make the effort and make some time for yoga, eating, writing, reading, working, or whatever else makes you happy. From all the books I've read and the podcasts and videos that I've watched about self-development, one thing I've learned is that you are in control of your life. The next thing I did was I started using better study techniques. Yeah, bet you didn't see that one coming. This whole channel was founded on the goal of helping students study more effectively. And there's many YouTubers in the study niche of YouTube. And when I first started, I was watching these videos and learning. And the one thing I knew was that I wasn't as eloquently spoken. I didn't have the best editing software in the camera when I first started making videos. But I knew one thing was that when it came to studying, I felt like I can be a little more relatable when I give this advice, because all these people that were creating these videos just happen to be like natural geniuses. But I always felt as though when I was creating content about studying, I was a little more relatable and transparent to the people. Some of the books that I have read just to understand how to study more effectively was like Make It Stick, Ultra Learning, and I started to become exposed to evidence-based ways to study. And based on my findings, some habits that I've tended to avoid when it came to my studying is passively reading, rewatching lecture, not doing practice questions, or even taking too much notes. And here's a video I just made about why you probably shouldn't take notes. There are way better ways to use your time, and I'm obsessed with finding study techniques that cut down your study time. And of course, everything I've learned and I'm continuing to learn, I'm gonna be sharing on this channel, which is another reason why you should subscribe. Is life as a student tough sometimes? Yes. Is it possible to excel in your classes with the right strategy and effort? Hell yeah. So I hope you found this interesting. Give this a big old thumbs up and check out the description below because I have linked my free study course on Skillshare. So please watch that. And my website that's designed for students. I've been working on this. There's free resources. There's all kinds of study tips and advice on there. So I recommend you check that out as well. But until next time, have a wonderful time.